All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Monday Night Team Call. My name is Emily Gernaat. I'm an Emerald Ambassador. And with me tonight is Candace Andersen. She is a Ruby Ambassador on my team. Say hi, Candace. So
Hello.
they see you. I'm super excited to be here with Candace tonight because she is just one of my favorite people in the world. We met through social media. We actually didn't even meet in person until a few weeks ago at Leaders Retreat. And before that, we were just Facebook friends, got connected through the horse world, just common love of horses. And she happened to own the stud that sired the horse that I had at the time. So anyways, it's kind of cool to get connected with her that way and just be Facebook friends over a course of a couple of years and build a relationship. And then, it turned out she is one of the biggest business builders on my team. And I'm honored to work with her. She is one of the most coachable people. And it doesn't surprise me one bit that she has had the success that she has, because she's willing to put into action anything I tell her to do or ask her to do. And she is ready and chomping at the bit for the next thing. So she doesn't make excuses. And even though she is a traditional business owner, she owns her business in Plexus and she works another full-time job. So with all that on her plate, she still manages to continue to build and grow in Plexus and has the mindset to do so. So I'm excited to give her a chance to give you guys some perspective on owning a business, a traditional business, and a business with Plexus, and just give a little bit of a backstory on that. So Candace, can you tell us a little bit of your background with business?
Yes, absolutely. So you kind of hit the nail on the head. I'm like my own little three-ring circus. I wear a lot of hats throughout the day. So I work full time in the corporate world still. I have done so straight out of college. I was fortunate enough to land my dream career job in the field that I went to school for. So I work a full-time job in the corporate world, but on the side, I also work another full-time job in the horse industry. And us horse people, we're definitely horse crazy, and it's an expensive habit. Like, to be totally honest with you, it's really expensive, and so I knew I was trying to play in a game that was, champagne taste on a beer budget. And in order for me to be able to attain the caliber of horses that I wanted to have, it dawned on me that I could go about it through the breeding. I could create my own dream horse, if you will, for lack of business or lack of better terms. And so I got the idea to not only more affordably create my own horse, but figure out a way to have that make money for me on the side, on top of building my dream horse herd, so to speak. And so I really had no idea what I was doing, but I dove headfirst all in and started to build our own breeding business. We bought our first stallion. First I had a few mares that I had purchased, and then we bought our first stallion, and I had no idea the amount of work that it was going to take to make this business profitable. And I had no idea what it took to take ownership of a business. But once you're in, and once you have livestock there, you're all in. You have to go all in. And so over time, I learned some tips. I reached out to people in the industry. I learned more about the business, but really what I have found that it took was time and dedication and showing up every day. And so so that's a little bit of kind of what I do outside of Plexus and outside of my corporate business. And so we've just recently transitioned not only from being a breeding program, but taking that to the next level. So then not only did I want to breed the best horses in the industry, but I wanted to have them conditioned and look the best and be sales fit and be ready to go to the market at the top level. And in order to do that in the northern country with our weather, it's a little more difficult to do, so to speak. And so to be able to keep up with the Joneses down south, we have a lot more work to be able to make that happen. And so we got the crazy idea to open a water treadmill business. And so basically we're able to condition horses year round using the water treadmill. And it's been almost a decade in the making behind the scenes. And we just finally went live and launched last August. So if that gives you any idea of the amount of time and effort that we have put into finally being able to launch this traditional brick and mortar business, that's kind of, so I did it in the evening. So we both my husband and I would work full time, work 40-hour jobs, full time, come home, turn around and work our second full job until 10, 11 o'clock at night. So
yeah, what a perspective, on the amount of work and everything, and dedication and things that went into it. And the time too. I mean, a decade in the making. It's been fun to watch you bring that to fruition too. And you said, you had to show up every day and take ownership of that business. And I think that that's a key that we can all take away and apply to our Plexus business too. Because that's what it takes in this business too. The advantage we have is that we can turn decades into days and into months and weeks by plugging into this whole system that we already have here. With Candace building a business from scratch, she had to create everything. She had to do all her own research. She had to find all the right people to talk to. She had to dig into business systems and things like that. And with Plexus, that's already right here. We already have coaches and people above us that are willing to invest time into us and, pour into us and teach us the systems right off the bat. And so you can condense a 30-year career or a 30-year business in the making into months and years by plugging into the systems that we already have, which I think is incredible and something we probably don't talk about enough. And I've witnessed that with Candace too. You've taken a lot of your knowledge from the business and corporate world, and you've put that right into action in your Plexus business. Can you tell us a little bit more about how that has transitioned over into Plexus?
Yeah, certainly. So, between the mix of the corporate world and with building our own businesses on the side, they all start kind of in the same place, right? You come out of college, you're looking for that dream job going into the corporate world. You decide you want to start a business. It all starts with that dream. It all starts with that big picture vision that everybody has. And so really they all kind of start in the same place. The difference is the time and investment financially and investment in time that it takes to kind of get that ball rolling, right? So I kind of did like a cross balance, like a balance sheet of like the pros and cons of what you have here. And just like when you start your dream job, there's that learning curve. You have to learn the systems. You have to learn the office etiquette. You have to learn what it is that your daily job and what your daily routine is going to look like. Like it's all, you all start out having to go through those beginning stages and learning steps and just diving in and getting your feet wet. And we show up every day, right? You show up every day for your regular corporate job. You have to show up every day if you decide you're going to start your own business. Same thing with Plexus. There's that learning curve. There's that beginning stage. There's the time it takes to kind of become familiar with what supplements we have and what we have to offer. The nice part about it is it's literally a roadmap, like our Rank Up roadmap and like our training systems that we have in our system are so user friendly that you can just plug yourself in and and launch forward significantly faster than what you do in a traditional business model, and really, quite frankly, in the corporate world too.
Awesome. You said something earlier on the phone that I have to bring up too, because you were talking about how you kind of accidentally started your horse business. Like it was something that you were passionate about and you wanted to run with, but it was just kind of one of those things that like started to happen and then you just ran with it and it snowballed. And I think we talk about that in Plexus a lot too. A lot of people will say, I just fell in love with the products and I just shared with a few people and it started snowballing and I just like accidentally had this business. And I wanted to bring a little bit of perspective to that because nobody accidentally goes diamond. You don't accidentally go all the way to the top of this company. You might, impact some people, share with a few friends, go silver, senior silver, gold, even senior gold, depending on your influence coming into this. But you're not going to accidentally go diamond. It takes some intentionality in key areas of your business to be able to take it from, just that accidental sharing excitement to this is a business that is going to continue to grow and develop and create residual income for decades, and that's what we're after here, right? If you're here on this call, chances are you're looking at diamond someday. You're thinking about it and wondering if it's possible for you. And it absolutely is possible for you. But it's going to take some intentionality in key areas of your business. One of the things I wanted to bring up just real quickly before I kind of get into some of those keys is being coachable. This is one of the things that Candace does well. She shows up and she's coachable. And it's something that I decided to be when I first started in this business. I knew that there was already a way paved for me and I didn't have to reinvent the wheel. I just had to, make the decision to basically say yes to whatever Jamie told me to do and then do it and then trust the process. Because what we have here is all the ingredients to create your business momentum cake. And you don't want to be just willy-nilly adding ingredients, trying to figure it all out on your own, a little dash of this, a little dash of that, ignoring the recipe, ignoring the whole process that goes into it, cranking your oven way too hot. I'm just trying to describe to you guys, you don't want to just look at it like that and just, be throwing things together willy-nilly. When there is already a recipe, when there's already all the ingredients there, and there's already somebody taking and holding your hand and ready to help you make your business cake. Okay. So pay attention to the person that's trying to teach you the recipe. Okay. Be coachable and try to resist, initially when somebody's coaching you on something, sometimes the first thing is to be resistant and then to wonder if it really works and then to wonder if it'll work for you. Just do it and just trust the process and trust that those ingredients are what is going to make it happen. So I wanted to get into some of the things that we can measure for our business cake. Anything that you can measure, you can make progress with and track progress with. And I like to be able to track progress because then I know where I'm going. I know where I'm falling short in. I know what needs to be worked on more. And so I just call these, the metrics of my business. I look at things from a zoomed out perspective, and I try to look at these things in an analytical way and not attach all kinds of funny meaning or, take it as I'm failing or anything like that. I'm just looking at the numbers. I'm looking at the metrics of my business, the ingredients that need to be there to bake this cake. And then I'm going to work on them, slowly but surely. So one of the things I'm looking at is, the number of people I'm recruiting and retaining each month. Me personally, like how many am I personally recruiting and retaining each month? It starts with me, right? So I'm going to look at that. And what I'm aiming for is 90%. So if I recruited 10 people over, a 3-month period of time, my goal would be to retain at least 9 of them. And that's a double goal. You can work and try to retain 90% of your people, and that's something that can be sustainable over time. The next thing I'm looking at is the number of people in my funnel. And when I say my funnel, I just really mean my network. How many people are engaged on my posts? How many people are, responding to the messages I send? How many people am I following up with that are actively talking back and forth with me? And how many people am I growing with my friends list and stuff? Because I want that network to be continually evolving and growing, so they always have new people to recruit. And then the next thing is I'm looking at the number of people I have sharing on my team. You can't do this by yourself. You've got to find those people that you're going to link arms with, and that you're going to share your vision with, and that you're going to go all the way to the top with. You have to find those people that you want to work with. And that's a really key thing to getting to those next ranks. If you're feeling like you're spinning your wheels in, silver, senior silver, gold, senior gold, anywhere in there, and you want to get going and get some progress going, you've got to start recruiting some business builders to do this with you. And it starts with you talking about the business and being bold and sharing about the business a lot. And then the next thing is the number of people you have engaged and involved in IPA, team calls, book club, and events. If you've got people sharing, and then you also have those people involved, then you are going places. This is when you're going to start picking up some momentum, getting joins coming in. It's not just you pulling the wagon. You're recruiting some horses to pull the wagon with you and to be in this with you. And that's when it gets exciting, people involved in all of the things that you're doing, you're working together. The next thing I'm looking at is the number of silvers being developed. My goal is to go silver every month. So just recruiting 3, and my goal is for everybody on my whole team to recruit 3 every month. And then also to help those 3 people develop into silvers. So developing silvers and leveraging the power of 3 is so powerful, and it can create massive momentum if you dig into it. And that's a metric, that you can measure. So, and then looking at the number of hours spent on personal growth. This is something I am passionate about because for the last several years, I've been involved in personal growth. Even long before Plexus, I really did a lot of personal growth on my own. Listened to podcasts, read books, went through a lot of life and trauma and issues, enough to the point where I wanted to dig myself out of those things, and I wanted to grow as a person and become a different person. So they say it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at anything. And, if you were to spend a full-time job doing personal growth, that would be around 3,000 hours a year. So it would still take you a few years to become an expert at personal growth and development, leadership, things like that. So with that perspective, I think it's important to know that that is something to invest in early in your business, and continue to invest in a lot over time, because that's only going to help you grow as a leader, and it's going to help you rank up, to be quite frank. So, and then the next thing I look at is the number of leaders being developed on my team. So I'm looking at, are they involved in book club? Are they involved in doing personal growth on their own? Are they showing up and taking ownership of their business on their own? Are they in their virtual office and checking perks report, credit card declines, doing kind of those nitty gritty business things on their own? Are they, doing coaching calls with their team? Are they hosting events? Those are leaders on your team. Those are people showing up and owning their business. And, when you're getting to those types of leadership development things, you are going places, especially if your leaders are starting to develop leaders who develop leaders. That's what's going to take you from Ruby to senior Ruby to Diamond. That's what it takes. You have to have leaders doing this with you. I think sometimes we get this business a little bit confused with direct sales. So, in direct sales, that is where you're selling lipstick to your friend down the street and you make a small commission from it and you go on with your day. That's not what we have here. That's not what creates residual income for decades and decades to come. What we have here is a chance to create and develop leaders who develop leaders who develop leaders, and have this whole team of people doing this thing with you. And that creates residual income for decades. So, Candace, did you have anything to add on there?
Well, I like that you brought that up, because that really hits home for me on the concept of not being in the business of sales, but being in the business of developing leaders. That is how you can scale this business and grow it. If we were a direct sales company, if we were focusing only on sales, then you're stuck leveraging only the amount of time and hours that you have in a day to directly sell to people one-on-one. You're limited. You're leaving your business as a smaller unit than what it could be. And so when you think of it in the big picture, and when you think about developing these relationships and developing leaders, that's how you can scale this business. And that's how you're going to make a sustainable business. And I just think that that was a great point to decipher the difference between the two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the scalability, right? So it's not just you and your time and you're trading time for money. It's you're creating something that can scale way beyond you. And you're helping other people do the same thing. So it's creating that legacy business, And
you try doing that in the traditional business world too. But you're definitely more limited there in a traditional business setting. And so that's one thing that I saw as a very viable opportunity with this business model. So just from seeing it from both sides of the angle. Definitely one of the huge benefits. The other huge benefit with this is literally the built-in team and the built-in coaching. I can tell you firsthand, in trying to build my own horse business, I had to go find that knowledge on my own. I had to make my connections. I had to make my network. I had to look up the stuff and things and become educated on different business models and what it took to literally do the nitty-gritty day-to-day stuff, plus then scale that business. And having a coach and having a dedicated person by your side who's in it with you, man, if I could have had that in my traditional business, I know I would be so much farther down the road. And I could have had that, but I would have had to pay for it. And I'd have had to pay pretty good money for it. And that's something that we have built in here into our business model and into this team. And man, the community that we have here, it's gold. That resource is absolutely gold.
For sure. I can definitely relate. I had started a training business before Plexus, and it was one of those things where there was no way to duplicate myself. There was no way to scale that business. It was just me as a sole proprietor trading my time and expertise for money, and nobody to coach me and teach me how to do this, So that's one of the things that I can sit back and say, like, this is a valuable thing that we have in our community, is the coaching, the training, the systems, the tools, all the ingredients that we need right here. The only thing that we have to do is show up and take ownership of our business, take ownership over those things that are measurable that we can, start to work on and change and develop. And then, just run with it. Believe in what you can do, believe in the vision, believe in where you're going in this company, in the products. If you have all of that, there's no telling what you can get done in a matter of weeks, months, years in this business. It's incredible the opportunity that we have, and it's incredible how we can shrink business ownership and all of this knowledge and all of this excitement and everything all into such a short period of time. I've never experienced anything like it in the outside world. What we have here is a powerful vehicle to get you from where you are right now to your dream goals. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys. Candace, do you guys have any last words before we jump off?
That was going to be it, is that what a powerful vehicle this is. And I was just going to say, what's taken me almost a decade to do in my traditional business, I have been able to have that return on my investment with Plexus in less than a year. What I'm able to do and what I am able to earn by plugging myself into this business and into the system with Plexus, I have been able to do financially in less than a year than what has taken me almost a decade to do in the traditional business model. So use this powerful vehicle that we have to skyrocket you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for jumping on. Thank you, Candace, for co-hosting. You're amazing.
Thanks for having me, everybody.
All right.